Hi, Felicity. We're going to take a look at your first film, give you a little bit of feedback, show you what I see here. Go ahead and share screen. We'll bring you over here and we'll get started. I got it all queued up, so we'll get to watching. So I see you have the little notes that are sort of popping in there, which is kind of a little interesting sort of addition. Okay, so first thing that I'm noticing, and this is just an observation, we were on one side over here. Your hands are on coming from the left here first. Well, actually, they're coming from the right here, as you can see. You're kneading the clay. You're on the right side. Then we're spinning from the left side, showing a change of location. Then you're on the right side again, kneading and handling the dough again, or the clay, not the dough, again on the other side. And so what you're doing is you're setting up, different atmospheres or different places, setting up contrasts so that it's not all the same. This is a good thing. I'm pointing it out as an effective way to add contrast to a scene that otherwise is pretty straightforward. I mean, you got a horizon line going on right here. You've got clay and hands. That's pretty much what you got. So you have to add some interest. And so having the hands coming from either side, I think is a good thing. Your camera is very stable, very still, so we're not getting any sort of point of view. It's not as if we're looking through your eyes. This is very observational. This is almost like surveillance, the way that the camera is set up. It's as if we're just observing secretly what's going on here. So what you're doing here with your cutting, these are called jump cuts. And we may have described jump cuts in the 300 level class. I can't remember if I brought up jump cuts. Jump cuts are where you go from one cut to another cut, which is a traditional way to move from one clip to another clip. You have footage, and you go to the next piece of footage. You cut to that footage. One ends and the other begins. A jump cut is where when one clip ends and another clip begins, but those two clips are extremely similar in composition. In fact, they may be where it's the same composition. The camera hasn't moved. It's just a different point in time. And so what happens is you see a little bit of a jitter or you see a little bit of movement. The audience becomes aware that this is maybe a fast forwarding in time or just a different point in time that's happening. Your whole piece is jump cuts. So what you're doing is you're basically fast forwarding, doing these jump cuts. I think because, again, you're so stable here with your camera, they're so minimal in terms of what you have, the jump cuts, you can get away with the jump cuts. We do have this compositional thing that's going on here where you have the diagonal slightly on there. I would have avoided that. I would have maintained this beautiful horizon that you have going on here where you see here how straight that is. It's a little bit of an angle over here, but not so much. You still have this horizon that's happening here on a straight on angle. But when we get here, you're at a bit more of a diagonal. This is not straight up and down. It's just a minor thing, but when you're so minimal, those minor things can add up. The audio sounds are really nice. I like that you can hear the sort of smushing of the clay, if that's how what is called smushing. You can hear the whirling of the wheel. All of that is excellent. Even the atmosphere of the studio is quite soothing. That said, the piece sort of ends abruptly. I think unless this was meant to be a loop, and I'm not sure that it was meant to be a loop there. Um, Connected a loop meaning it's going to start all over again and show this the same cycle. Maybe it is. Let me go back here and see. Well, you've got all these credits here, so it wouldn't be sort of ending in a loop this way. And no, it wouldn't, because you didn't start off with with this. If you had started off here, for instance, where the beginning of your piece was you pulling, and the end of the piece was pulling, and basically you took both ends and stuck them together. So it just appeared that there was this everlasting sort of making of a pot. It just kept going and kept going and kept going. You can get away with a piece kind of linearly ending this way. But as you can see, it just sort of cuts off, like we're watching it, and it just falls off a cliff. Be wary of that. Resolve your piece. I know this is just a sketch. That's fine, but it sort of just trails off like that. I think you've done a wonderful job kind of putting together a very minimal piece here. It definitely highlights what the sort of handling of the clay. It's all about the hands. It's all about this sort of tactile feel, and the sounds and everything works really well. It's just at the end, we're sort of a little bit dissatisfied because it just sort of drops off. And I think you probably would agree with that. It just sort of ends. So if we find a resolution, it could be something just very simple, maybe tying it together in the editing where it becomes a loop where it just begins and ends. And the audience would essentially not sit down and watch this. This would be an everlasting sort of cycling loop on a program. I think it could be beautiful. It could be something that could be displayed in a lobby somewhere or in a public space that would just kind of be working as a exploration or a celebration, really, of clay of clay work. So that's what I'm seeing. I think you did an excellent job on this first piece. Looking forward to your films 2 and your films 3 and your final piece. And we'll see you in the studio. All right. Bye-bye now.